And welcome back to the ZSBS show, starring your host, Zane and Zach Smith. Zach, how are you doing?
That was too loud.
It was way too loud. For some reason, it's popping. You know what I found interesting? On our actual audio, whenever we do produce it,
yeah,
the pop doesn't come in.
Oh.
It's really weird.
It's probably the headphones having to deal with too much sound.
Oh, that could be it. It could be it. It could be having too many audio channels
Yeah.
in there. That could be it. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah. Yeah, that could be it because it consolidates the sound stuff. All right. Anyway, sorry for giving you that mindless jibber jabber. But today is, what day is it?
Today is the 7th.
Today is May 7th, and
May.
I'm here with my co-host and my editor, Zachary Smith.
Hello.
Of the ZSBS show. Of the ZSBS, please visit us at thezsbs.com if you want any kind of op-eds on anything that you love.
And
anything and everything you love.
And you can't see it right now because we're doing audio only today.
Yeah.
But I am wearing a summer-ish themed shirt.
Hey, dress well, test well. Isn't that what they say?
Something like that. Anyway, there's going to be more stuff going up on the site now that it's summer and I have more time when we're out of finals.
Yeah, same here.
So get prepared for that. I'm looking to put up at least 2 articles a week, plus more videos on the channel, the YouTube channel.
Yeah, we're planning on really hitting it heavy with the videos.
Yeah.
Really hitting it heavy with the podcast.
Just giving you guys a heads up on what's going to be coming up in the near future, especially since we have more free time on our hands.
Absolutely.
But, yeah.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and jump into it today.
All right.
So as you guys probably heard over the weekend, there's, this past week, there's been a lot of jibber-jabber on the, have you heard about that, the jibber-jabber on the Michael Cohen case with Trump basically paying off Stormy Daniels to silence her and stuff? Rudy Giuliani had a couple takes on that. Did you get to see that?
I did. You know what? You know why? You know why I did?
Why?
Because everyone did. Because that's all that the news has been about this week.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of important stuff happening, but all that really matters is that Rudy Giuliani is talking about Trump and contradicting the president's previous statements in somewhat bumbling fashion.
Yeah, here's some bumbling fashion for you. We're about to show this, but yeah, he's been kind of just rambling on a little bit, and Trump actually came out and said how kind of crazy he's sounding, So that's pretty funny when the president comes out and says that, oh, well, he's his first day on the job.
He's a real nice guy.
First day on the job, real nice guy.
First day on the job.
He's just saying
really know
stuff.
Everything. He doesn't really know everything.
He's just talking. But that's so funny because, as conservatives, we don't like that. We actually actively hate that. It's talking before the facts come out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or before you know the facts. Talking before you know the facts. That's a big problem that we see, at least. A lot of people on the left see that as well. Of course, a lot of it's blinded because of ideology. You all right?
Yeah.
Did you burp?
No, just continue. I'm sorry.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Can you stop making that face? For those of you that can't see it, well, for everybody that can't see us, he's just making a weird face at me right now.
I just had a really weird yawn is all.
Okay. Anyway, so here's a little sneak peek as to what Giuliani was sounding like.
He says he doesn't know and doesn't care when President Trump found out about the $130,000 payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels. The president's lawyer said yesterday he's focused on the law more than the facts right now. That's a quote. He also indicated that Daniels may not have been the only woman to receive hush money. Paula Reed is at the White House. Paula, good morning.
Good morning. Now, Rudy Giuliani has only been part of the president's legal team for about 2 weeks now, but in that time, he continues to make headlines about that 2016 hush money payment to Daniels. His comments are raising new questions about just how much the president knew about that agreement.
I would think if it was necessary, yes.
Rudy Giuliani suggested Sunday that Michael Cohen may have paid hush money on behalf of President Trump to other women in addition to adult film star Stormy Daniels.
He conducted business for the president, which means he had legal fees, monies laid out, and expenditures.
He says the president reimbursed Cohen with his own money through a monthly retainer agreement for his services.
Michael Cohen takes care of situations like this, then gets paid for them sometimes.
Giuliani's shocking claim that the president knew about the hush money deal directly contradicts the president's statement to reporters last month aboard Air Force One.
Did you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels?
No.
Do you know where he got the money to make that payment?
No, I don't know. It is time for Rudy Giuliani to be put out to pasture.
Daniels' attorney, Michael Avenatti, blasted Giuliani's legal strategy
A storm's a-coming, baby.
and dismissed questions about whether his client's appearance on Saturday Night Live.
For those of you that can't see what's going on right now, he's Stormy Daniels went on SNL and did a thing with Alec Baldwin as Trump, and yeah,
undermines the credibility of her case.
We've proven to be very serious about this case.
Giuliani also insisted Saturday on Fox that
That's
the
a
payment
venti,
was
that's
not
the
a
lawyer.
campaign contribution and was instead an expenditure.
Even if it was for campaign purposes, if it was to save his family, to save embarrassment, it's not a campaign donation.
Campaign finance experts tell me that it's the timing of that payment that is really critical. And if that money was exchanged in an effort to impact the outcome of the election, then it could be considered a campaign contribution, or at the very
gotta
least
remember
something
this
that
is
the campaign
CBS.
should have disclosed. Now that payment, that agreement is the subject of complaints to the
that-
Federal Election Commission and the Justice Department. John?
Paula, Rudy Giuliani.
so that's basically what's been going down this past week with Rudy Giuliani.
Can I say something?
Yeah, absolutely. Say
That
away.
was such a stretch.
Oh yeah, of course.
The story.
I want to
was-
show it from CBS because I want to show the leftist tint
That's
too.
just such a stretch. It's like, oh, he's basically said that Michael Cohen's done this with more women. I mean, whether he has or not is not explained there. What is explained is that he has this retainer and he uses it to take care of Trump's problems.
Yeah,
Now, given the character of Trump, has he probably done this before? Yes.
absolutely.
But they don't know that for sure, and reporting that and saying, oh, this could be. Well, yeah, anything could be.
Well, no, that's not the reason I brought up the clip. The
Well,
reason I
that-
brought up the
I
clip is
understand
just
that, but
him
that's-
it's basically, if you didn't understand his jibber jabber, that's because it was jibber jabber.
Yeah.
He was just out there. He's a talking head at this point. That's basically what he is.
I know
He
that's
just-
not why you brought up the clip. It just annoys me as someone who's studying journalism that
Oh, that
goes
they're
on.
reading that far into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not that they're reading that far into
Well,
it. It's
that
just
should be
they're
saved. I agree. That should be saved for.
the talking heads.
Well, no, that should be saved for op-eds.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be for CBS this morning.
To report on
report
as fact.
Well, and with the question mark at the end, like here's what the headline reads: more hush money payments.
That's
It's like,
terrible.
Yeah, I know. It's.
Oh my god.
I agree that it's terrible. The reason I showed the video was to show that Giuliani is just acting as a talking head, and I don't like it when people on the right or on the left are doing that. And that's kind of what I wanted to discuss today a little bit, is that we have a problem with, especially it's on both sides, and I think it's reactive to some degree on both sides too, is that we tend to get grounded in this mindset of, oh, whatever it takes to win. You know, the ends justifies the means. And what happens then is you do get these talking heads that just go out there and they say that because I can influence people just by talking, not by making sense, I'm going to mitigate the problem. Or not just mitigate the problem, I'm going to end up with a better result. You know what I mean? That's what I don't like.
Yeah.
So, anyway, but that's a little bit of what's been going down. Giuliani also appeared on Hannity and other sources too. And then, of course, the Michael Cohen SNL skit had Stormy Daniels on there with Alec Baldwin as Trump. And can I just say this? Alec Baldwin as Trump is not entertaining. It's not. It was funny the first time.
It's not.
And ever since then, it's gotten less progressively less funny.
In my opinion, it's not even that good of an impression.
No.
I mean, he kind of looks like him in this costume.
He's no Dana Carvey.
Yeah, but his voice impression's not that great.
Well, and he himself is not that funny.
Yeah.
I have never found him that funny. And the thing is Bill Burr, I believe it was, comedian, he likes it, which I don't even get. I don't get how you find Alec Baldwin funny. Yeah, he's got the deep voice. He is humorous to a certain degree on certain things, but he's But this, like, a lot of leftists love it. A lot of liberals love it because it's making fun of Trump. That's it. That's the only reason.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason
Yeah.
I can find that people like that caricature.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know.
And to a certain degree, it was funny the first time. I thought it was hilarious the first time he did it because, you know, it sounds relatively like him, and he looks relatively like him.
But at some point, it just becomes lazy.
And some of the lines that were delivered at first were good. But, yeah, at some points, it just gets too lazy, and you're making the same jokes over and over again. Like when you're saying, come on, folks. Come on, folks. Like when you're doing that over and over and over again, it loses its
Exactly. It's just like
loses its comedic effect.
It's just like when you watch, for instance, The View. Like every episode that I've ever like heard a soundbite of, someone makes a joke about Donald Trump's tiny hands. It's just like, okay. It wasn't even funny when Marco Rubio's.
No, well, and the thing about the tiny hands is, okay. What's funny about it? Like, the thing about jokes is they have to be sort of double entendre in a way that they're funny. But if you just make fun of tiny hands, like, you're just making fun of them. You're not really being a comedian. You're not making a joke.
Yeah.
You know?
You know.
Like, hands so tiny blank. You know what I mean? You have to have that other thing that you're comparing it to,
You know.
or that you're relating it to make it funny. And if that thing is basic, then it's not going to be funny. It's not going to be well received.
Yeah, comedy's dead. So.
Well, yeah, I to a certain extent I agree. And what's sad is, you know, I was watching a lot of the Dave Chappelle because I like Dave Chappelle. I think he's hilarious. I was watching him on to a certain degree. He's kind of went down that trail a little bit.
Yeah. That's
been
sad to watch.
Because he was on, I can't remember who it was. He was on one of the, oh my gosh, this is going to kill me. I can't remember if he was on Kimmel or if he was on Conan, but he was basically talking about how, like, Michelle Wolf, like, did a good job. Like, up there at the White House, what is that called? The White House Correspondents' Dinner? That she did a good job, that she was funny. And it was like, it was, to a certain degree, some of the jokes were well placed. But the thing was, I don't know if it went too far. I wouldn't characterize it as too far just because it was Michelle. Like, I don't know if you could say it's too far given that Trump has gone so far with his comments.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know if it's definitely deserved, but the question becomes, should you do it should you do it out of reaction to something you disagree with, or should you be the better person? You know what I mean? Should you be the better person? And a lot of the jokes were just low-handed. Like, I think that was part of it, because they were on, some of the jokes were just low-handed. Some of the jokes were good. Some of the jokes about Trump were good. Some of the jokes about the media were good. Like the part where she goes, you guys, I think it was like, you guys elected him or something along those lines. Like,
she made a joke about
which is true, by the way.
Huh?
She made a joke about the media.
Oh, she made a joke about
Trump making Trump the president.
It's like, no, she made a joke that they were like an ex-girlfriend who's really jealous. They're like, you guys like hate him, but you also like really love him.
Yeah.
That one I thought was kind of funny.
No, I thought I thought a few of the jokes were really good, but the majority of the tone was really negative and nasty.
And her voice is really
annoying. That was the other thing.
It's like that.
You know, as a comedian, this has to be in the back of your mind. Is
I don't want to sound like that.
Well, I can't listen to that for 30 minutes. You know, I can't.
Like, you guys are like Trump's ex-girlfriend.
All right, Zach, please stop. Please stop. I know you're trying to prove a point. I will come over this table and smack you right across the face. Good Lord. No, it is annoying. Her voice is distinctly like nails on a chalkboard bad. Like, it is horrid.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's like taking an ice scoop and scooping it against the bottom steel on the ice.
Yeah,
on the
you have a
ice
real
thing.
problem with that.
Oh my gosh, it has a visceral response, man. You react negatively every time that happens. For all of you who have waited or worked at a restaurant, you know this feeling. It's like whenever the ice is almost empty and you're at the bottom of the barrel and you're scraping the scoop against the bottom stainless steel. Ugh. Oh my gosh, that's horrid. It's a horrible feeling. But anyway, so yeah, where were we? We went from Giuliani to.
We're talking about because you're talking about Comedy's Dead, and then you're talking about Dave Chappelle,
Oh,
and
yeah,
you're
yeah.
talking about Michelle Wolf and how.
I agree. I think we've come to a point in our country, and this is actually where I kind of agree with Milo. Wow, you'd never thought you'd hear those words.
I'm gonna walk away.
I'm
gonna leave.
This is actually where I agree with Milo, is we are in a post-fact society. And what that means is you will inevitably like things that are to your ideological bent, and you will shun everything that is against your ideological bent. Now, see, me and you aren't in that trap because we will acknowledge that Michelle Wolf was funny
At points.
at points in the talk.
Yeah.
She's made some good jokes,
Yeah.
but that some of it was a little overzealous.
Like the abortion joke was just not.
Well, that I would say the attack on the what's her name?
Sarah Huckabee.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders. I
didn't
would say
find
that was.
I didn't think. I thought it was a little.
It was distasteful.
It was distasteful, and it was a little.
I don't think it was.
It was a little too. I don't know how to say this. Vindictive. A little too aggressive. I don't know.
I don't know about aggressive.
It was very, very personal.
That's
it was
the
a very,
thing.
very personal
Yeah,
attack.
I think it was a very
It wasn't-
personal attack against
It wasn't
her.
something like, oh.
Well, and the thing is she literally is a talking head. That's what the Secretary of the Press is.
Yeah.
You know? She's supposed to be that way. She's not supposed to say her own feelings. She's not out there to do that. She's out there to state what Trump wants her to state, and you can't blame her for that. That's what doesn't make sense to me, is the left going after people like her. That's her job. You know? That's her job. That's like getting on the oil worker. That's like getting on the coal worker for mining coal, right? Because it's polluting the environment. Well, here's the thing. If you want to get on to somebody for polluting the environment, you get on the guy owning that coal industry, the coal mining company. You get on that guy.
Yeah.
You don't get on the coal miner.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the problem is she literally is a talking head. She's just doing her job. She's just out there saying what Trump wants her to say. And I don't fault her for that. But at the same time, she's going to get that negative ferociousness that you see coming from the media and the left.
Yeah.
She's going to
and
get
then,
that.
like, it's hilarious because you saw these articles coming out right after the Michelle Wolf, right after she did her thing, from these feminist writers saying, well, does Sarah Huckabee Sanders deserve the benefits of feminism? And it's like, see, this is how you know feminism's not about equality. It's not about equality. It's not about equity. It's about whoever agrees with us.
Well, of course.
I mean, because conservative women, they don't deserve the benefits of.
Well, here's the thing. It's the onus is on the person saying that to declare what the benefits of feminism are.
Exactly.
The onus is on them. The onus isn't on me to say the benefits of feminism. The onus is on the person saying that, what the benefits are.
Well, but again, it's the double standard that's applied when you talk about, for instance, no, you don't want to. No harassment towards women is like a big thing. It's like you can't harass women. Michelle Wolf goes up there and harasses Sarah Huckabee Sanders on stage in front of thousands of people, and all these feminists come out. It's like, well, she's a conservative, so does she really deserve our help?
Well, and here's the thing. That in and of itself is a statement of everything that feminism brings is beneficial.
Yeah.
That's dangerous. That's dangerous because I don't know a lot of men, conservative men, that would say that everything masculinity brings is beneficial. I don't know a single man who would say that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I do know a couple men, but they're idiots. So
Who would say that?
there's just a couple like jocks.
Oh, but I mean like anybody in the political arena, public
no,
sphere.
no.
Yeah, exactly. I don't
mean,
know
unless,
anybody.
unless we're talking about like really fringe groups, like not necessarily men rights activists, but like MGTOWs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess they might say it.
Like,
But again, I don't know any
like
people,
masculinity is like an ultimate good.
but I don't know any people in the public sphere that are MGTOWs.
Yeah, I mean, there's not that many.
Just for the people that are listening, not knowing what a MGTOW is, it's Men Go Their Own Way. It's an acronym. So
Yeah.
it's basically men that are disenfranchised with women, and they decide that they want nothing to do with them.
But then again, there are MGTOWs that just like they do like have this. It's weird. So it's like men go their own way, but then there's some MGTOW that do actually have sex with women and they just refuse to be in like relationships, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a confusing ideology. I don't think it makes much sense, but yeah, that's just me.
Anyway, but I just think it's I think it's dangerous to suggest that everything that femininity brings is good.
Yeah.
And that everything masculinity brings is bad.
Yeah.
Like that is clear ideological speak. You know, that's a very unnuanced view.
That's dogma.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Dogma.
It's dogma. Yeah. And that's a funny thing. The same people get on the Catholic Church and on the Christian Church for dogma, or other religions for dogma.
I think more specifically evangelicals, but yeah.
But they get onto them for dogma.
Yeah.
And then they have their own dogma that they're like, oh well, this is right. It's like, well, hey, wait a second. You can't have it both ways.
Of course you can.
course
Because
you can.
they're right and you're wrong.
That's right. But what is right and what is wrong? Everything's a text. Okay, so Zach brought in something that he wants to share with everybody today.
Oh, are we doing this now?
I guess you brought it in. You said you wanted to talk about it.
I did, but I also wanted to talk a little bit about the midterm elections coming up.
Go ahead and talk a little bit about the midterms. We'll save like 5 minutes of that.
All right.
It's just gonna be you talking.
Okay.
I'm gonna be stepping back from the mic. All right, and
all right. So the midterm elections coming up 2018. It's expected that this blue wave is going to hit, especially in the House. The Republicans might even lose the House. However, the Senate is a different story. There's actually a lot of really close toss-up races in Democrat districts. For instance, in Florida, Governor Rick Scott will be running against incumbent Senator Bill Nelson, and I actually think that Rick Scott's going to end up winning that race. He's really popular in the state. He's helped turn the state around. He's created a lot of jobs and made the state of Florida a lot better place to live. Claire McCaskill is probably also going to lose her state in Missouri, as well as Democrats might lose a seat in Ohio and in Indiana. My projection, again, this is just a quick overview of what I think is going to happen. Is my projection is that the Republicans are actually going to gain seats in the Senate. They're going to win. I think they're going to end up with 55 seats in the Senate, and we're going to end up not having a majority in the House. So I think we're looking at a split Congress with a Republican presidency.
that's the kind of Congress I like.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. I think that, again, Republicans are going to lose a lot in the House. Although Reuters polling has shown there's only a 3-point deficit. So May 3rd, 2018, people likely voting Democrat in this upcoming 2018 November midterm elections. On May 3rd was their most recent polling data, and it is 40% Democrat and 37% Republican, which is only a 3-point deficit for Republicans. So it's going to be close, but I still think that we're going to lose a lot of seats in the House. But I think the Senate, we're actually going to gain seats, which is good. Because I think the Senate actually has a little more power than the House. But, yeah. That's what I think's going to happen. That's all.
Is that all you wanted to say?
That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Just because, you know, I know that a lot of Democrats are not Democrats anymore, really, as much as they are socialized leftists. And so I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't really like it when Republicans or the right own all branches of government. Not all branches, but all of the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
House, Senate, White House. I don't like it when we own all of it because we make a lot of stupid... We're basically Democrats whenever that happens because we overspend.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I really think the only way for salvation away from all this overspending is for the American people to realize that they can vote another way. I think that's the only way.
Well, I mean, we don't really have a viable third party. So.
That's the problem. And
So
you know what the best time for that third party would have been?
Last election.
This last election.
Yep. But we had the freaking libertarians put up
a big spender.
a big spender who's also a pretty...
Lord.
Probably the most...
Unvotable guy?
He was so weird. He lived in this like uncanny valley of policy decisions. So, for instance, a libertarian candidate who wanted to introduce a carbon tax.
Yeah.
So any Republican that might
trade.
Yeah,
Cap and trade.
any Republican that might want to vote libertarian because they're actually pretty socially conservative and
well, a lot of Republicans are socially liberal now.
socially liberal and fiscally conservative, which would be pretty libertarian relatively.
No, that is libertarian.
Yeah. So
when you have a guy making a statist claim like that.
Yeah, when you have a libertarian candidate come out and said, "Well, we need to institute a carbon tax," and it's just like, what party are you running for?
That made me do a double take.
I was just like,
that made me do a double take.
That was way worse than like the whole Aleppo like thing that happened on CNN. Like, what is Aleppo? No, I'm serious. I don't know what it is. I think that I think he
killed himself with that though.
But that didn't bother me as much.
It didn't bother me.
It's just
because
like,
a lot of people didn't know what Aleppo was.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's just like, oh,
if you asked Trump,
he didn't know what Aleppo was. What?
Here's the thing:
it's like you didn't know what Aleppo was until you looked it up.
Trump
after you saw
didn't
the
know
interview.
what Aleppo was.
Yeah.
Trump would have not been able to answer the question.
Yeah, but he would have answered it smarter.
Hillary
than that.
might have.
I think Hillary
because
would've.
she was Secretary of State.
I think Hillary would have. I think Trump wouldn't have known what it was, and then he would have been like, "Could you please clarify?" And then they would have been like, "Syria, the problem in Syria," and then he would have been like, "No, but." He just went, "What is Aleppo?"
Yeah.
Like he's answering some Jeopardy question. It was just so weird.
It wasn't smart.
Anyway, do you want to talk about this?
Talk about what?
This?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So, Zane, I'm going to let you pick a topic. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 topics. Yep, 4 topics. So, what would you like to talk about to end the show today? Would you like to talk about epistemology?
We're not ending the show yet.
Oh, we're not?
No.
How long have we been recording?
We've only been recording 30 minutes.
Oh, really? So, would you rather talk about epistemology, ontology, or axiology?
Let's just talk about one of them today.
No, I'm giving you
Pick
the choice.
one.
You pick.
Pick one.
You pick. I'm like one of those blueberry groves.
Pick one.
Come on, Zane.
Epistemology.
Epistemology it is. The first one. All right. So, for those of you who don't know, epistemology is a branch of philosophy that studies knowledge, or how people know what they claim to know. So, Zane, I have a couple questions for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready as I'll ever be.
To what extent can knowledge exist before experience?
To what extent can knowledge exist before experience? Oh. To what extent? I would say in the nature of the thing. So, like, ants, that's a bad example. Birds, if left to their own vices, don't have to experience flight to know how to do it. You know what I mean?
But couldn't you say that they, through observation, experience flight through observation of their parents?
You could. But then I would say, but what about those birds that never have parents and are still able to fly?
I'd have to look at it like a scientific study on that because I don't know about if that's ever happened or if that happens.
I'm
a lot.
sure it's happened.
It's probably happened.
There's a lot of orphaned birds. I mean, there are.
That sounds like a sad TV show.
It does. Just see. That'd be hilarious. I've never seen one, but that would be awesome if they had a commercial with birds just in the arms of the
I was thinking the
angel.
same thing. All right. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. to
That
me.
would be so funny. Oh,
I
my
would
gosh.
actually agree that there is a certain natural understanding that we are born with, especially because I don't know, because a lot. This is a tough question.
It is a tough question.
Because there's
I'm not saying it's
experience
easy.
can mean so many different things.
Like what? Give me an example. The onus is on you.
The onus is on me.
The onus is on you.
So
What can it mean?
technically,
What
okay.
can
So
experience mean?
you know that crack babies, right? You know crack babies, right? They're born with
I don't know a single crack baby. No.
No, but you know of them. Like there's babies that are born addicted to crack.
How did this come up? They're addicted to a substance,
Yeah,
but they
they're
don't know what that
addicted.
substance is.
It doesn't matter. They're still addicted to it.
But that's not how they know it.
They know that they want it.
But they don't know. They don't know what it is. Why'd you have to bring up crack babies? Sorry. And you're laughing at the crack babies.
I was so serious when I brought it up, I swear.
He's crying, everybody. He's crying.
Okay.
Wow, those crack babies really affect you, don't they?
Man, it makes me sad.
Oh, man. Anyway, what was your point? Just say it. Come
My
on.
point is that I guess that was a bad example. Like if your parent is an alcoholic, then you have a higher propensity to become an alcoholic.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that is even... I don't know if that's even experiential. I don't know if you could just say that it's nature, though, because they don't know what they're addicted to. They just know that they're addicted. Well, they don't even know that they're addicted.
Well, they're
That's
not
the thing.
necessarily addicted.
What does it
yet.
say is the no? Can you define the no in that epistemology?
We observe the world and thereby come to know about it, but perhaps there is something in our basic nature that provides not a kind of knowledge even before we experience the world.
Okay, so a nature
Yeah.
would be a knowledge.
So, yeah. So, for instance, like the differences between men and women. Like, you know how to behave.
Or like an involuntary... Like, say I throw a ball at you. They actually did this with Parkinson's disease. This is what I heard from Jordan Peterson. Did this Parkinson's disease patients is if you throw a ball at them, and they can be quite along in Parkinson's for this to happen. You throw a ball at them, they'll still react to the ball being thrown at them to catch it, but they won't be able to throw the ball back to you. So something in their brain is telling them to catch it, but they don't know they're doing it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I would say that if you're saying
So, like
that,
instinct?
if you're saying that instinct is a knowledge of what to do, which technically it is, it's an unconscious knowing, you're not consciously aware, but you're unconsciously aware of it, or subconsciously aware of it, and therefore you do know it. You just don't know that you know it.
Also, we talk about the differences in. Well,
so that's an even better question: is what is knowledge? Is knowledge something is knowledge instinct, or is knowledge instinct plus experience, or is knowledge just experience, or is knowledge knowing?
Well, I think that's what this question is asking.
Okay.
Is knowledge just experience, or is there innate knowledge within everyone?
I would say that there is knowledge that you don't know. And how I'm defining know is consciously knowing.
Okay.
So like consciously aware.
Okay.
Like a fact.
Yeah.
So it's not like a fact. It's different than a fact.
Yeah.
It's a nature, and that nature, you act upon it. So therefore you do know. But it's not a knowledge. It's not the same type of knowledge we're talking about.
Okay. I think I get it.
Anyway, continue with this. This is interesting. Epistemology.
All right. The example they give is, for example, strong evidence exists that children do not learn language entirely from hearing it spoken. Rather, they acquire language by using innate models to test what they hear.
Yep.
In other words, a capacity for language exists in a brain a priori before a child begins to know the world through experiencing it.
That's actually true. They'll go through a child will go through almost every single utterable vowel and sound that humans can do before developing language. They'll go through it verbally.
That's cool.
That's why you hear goo goo gaga. That's them going. Yeah, they're going through the noises.
That's actually pretty interesting.
Jordan Peterson brings that up too. He's a pretty smart guy.
Yeah. All right. So, to what extent can knowledge be certain? Does knowledge exist in the world as an absolute, and therefore taking by who? Wait. In the world as an absolute, therefore the taking by whoever can discover it, or is knowledge relative and changing?
Is knowledge relative and changing?
Or is it certain?
What do you mean by certain? Like certainly got? Or just certain as in it doesn't change?
As an absolute?
So it's an absolute, so it doesn't change.
Yes.
It's like a rock. Except
real knowledge.
More than a rock,
Well,
because
okay.
rocks can change.
So what I would say is that real knowledge, or there is such thing as absolute fact, and there is such thing as theories, correct?
I would say that knowledge is variable.
Okay.
I would say that that's not concrete. Because you can change. That's actually brought up by the, who was it? Was it Plato? Who did the cave that the prisoners are stuck in and they see shadows cast along the wall?
I don't remember.
And that's what they know. That's all they know. And then someone escapes and then sees the real world and then just wants to crawl back into the cave.
Yeah.
Because it's so weird.
Yeah.
But that's what they know. That's their a priori, is they know that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it has to be changing, doesn't it? At least your knowledge. That's not saying that facts change. That's saying that your knowledge changes.
That's the one thing that... Okay.
I would have to say it is.
Yeah, okay. So they make the clear distinction between
facts
and knowledge in this. So I would say... they're talking about to what extent can your knowledge be certain. So like your knowledge...
You can have a false knowledge.
Yeah.
You can have a false
Okay,
knowledge.
Yeah, I would agree with that. They talk about those who take the universal stance, who believe they are seeking absolute and unchanging knowledge, will admit errors in their theories, but they believe that these errors are merely a result of not having yet discovered the complete truth.
Well, it's also kind of like, I think you can even have variable knowledge with the first kind of knowledge we talked about, which is the instinctual knowledge.
Yeah.
I think that can be variable as well. Because if you think about it, our bodies react adversely to things like scratches and stuff that it shouldn't. Because if it didn't, it would be better off not reacting to it.
For instance, like if you...
Like poison ivy.
Oh, okay.
Or like if you have an itch, you can't stop scratching. Well, if you stop scratching the itch will go away. But your body doesn't react that way. Your body wants to itch it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Isn't that like part of our like survival mechanism or whatever?
Well, yeah, a part of it is because, like, for the same reason that we
most of the time
sweat
when there's
whenever we're cold,
'cause most of the
whenever
time-
we're warm.
Yeah, and most of the time when there's like an itch, normally like back in the day, like when I'm talking about like thousands of years ago, it was like a bug or something.
But I think that has to also do with the fact that we are not totally adaptable creatures.
Yeah.
That we only adapt to certain things and very slowly to those certain things.
Okay.
Over time. You know what I mean? Because not every human deals with poison ivy.
Okay. All right. The next question. By what process does knowledge arise?
What process?
There are 4 different kinds of
processes.
So there's rationalism, suggests that knowledge arises out of sheer power of the human mind to know the truth. There is empiricism, that states that knowledge arises in perception. There is constructivism, that holds that people create knowledge in order to function pragmatically in the world.
That happens.
Social construction is a 4th position on how knowledge comes to be. It suggests that reality is socially constructed, a product of group and cultural life.
That's horse crap. So the second and third, I would say, are the way that knowledge is constructed.
Okay.
I don't even think the rational thing is right. Say the rational one again.
Suggests that knowledge arises out of sheer power of the human mind to know the truth. This position ultimately places the faith in human reasoning to ascertain truth.
So it's from the will of the human mind to want to know the truth, right? Is that what you just said?
It says sheer power of the human mind to know the truth. So it's like
Sheer
what we
power.
can comprehend. And it says that it places the onus on the human mind's ability to understand the world as we see it.
No, that's the empirical one.
Empiricism states that knowledge arises. So we experience the world. See.
So the rationality one is that you have the will or the power to do it.
So like, for instance,
You want it to be rational. You want to know the truth.
Yeah.
That's what it's saying. The empiricism thing is saying that regardless of whether you want to know it, you will know it because it's in front of you.
Yeah, this is how I see it.
Yeah, exactly. The constructionist is saying that everything is constructed to be pragmatic, which is true, and 4 is the socially constructed thing, which is that everything, all of reality is just constructed arbitrarily. Yes?
Phenomenon can be fruitfully understood in many different ways, and that knowledge is what the person has made of the world. So it's your truth.
Yes, but that's arbitrary because it's regardless of any truth that actually exists.
Yes.
It's saying there is no independent truth.
Yeah.
It's all socially constructed.
Yes.
That's the postmodernist theory.
That's constructivism.
Yeah.
The 4th position, which is social construction, is something that has been more recent. And that's how knowledge comes.
Say the constructivism again.
Constructivism holds that people create knowledge in order to function pragmatically in the world, that phenomena can be fruitfully understood in many ways.
That happens. Go to the next one.
And social construction is a position on how knowledge comes to be. It suggests that reality is socially constructed.
That's the
a
thing.
Product of group and cultural life. Knowledge, then, is a product of symbolic interaction within social groups.
Ha. So there's the rub. So the 4th one is the thing that's bullcrap. The constructivist actually happens.
Well, yeah.
Because
I'm saying, but my point is that constructivism
is not the whole story.
Yeah, it's a piece. It's a piece.
It's a fairly large piece because we have to act pragmatically in the world.
I understand that, but constructivism can lead to social constructivism.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where...
Yes.
That's where the problem comes.
Yeah.
Is because
Of course it can lead to that.
The ultimate end of constructivism is social constructivism.
No, that's not the end of it. That's the extreme of it. That's different than the end of it. The end of it is not the extreme. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you can just sit there without an end, which is true. I mean, that is the statement you just read about we make knowledge to be pragmatic.
Yeah.
That is so true.
Yeah, but it's not
We make
the
things.
whole piece of the pie.
I mean, that's what layman's terms is. You speaking in a very undefined way, ambiguous way.
Well, that's
to
language.
get a point
This
across.
isn't- We're not talking about language. We're talking
About knowledge.
About knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. To some extent, language is knowledge.
Oh my god. I feel like I'm talking to one of my professors.
To some, I'm using specific language here. So to some extent, language is knowledge.
Well, I guess to some extent.
Because you do you think in words or images? Or both?
It's a tough question.
Which one is greater?
I think
I think
in MP4 format.
I think in HTML code. It's just how I think, guys.
I think in binary. It's like 110110010010110.
Yeah. I think in mathematical equations.
E equals MC squared.
A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Oh, no. So you see the point I'm getting to.
Yeah,
right?
I understand the point. I just...
Do you think... No, this is a serious question. Do you think in words or in pictures or in images?
Oh, God. To be honest, I think in, like, auditory, I guess. I don't know.
So you think in words? Like, you don't... I'm not saying you see the words, but you think in words.
Yes.
Like words spoken to you.
Yes.
Okay. That's actually not that uncommon. What's more uncommon is the thinking in images.
Because the pictures...
Well, no, that's not what I was about to say.
Yeah.
That's what your progressive teachers would have told you.
No.
No, but the thing is... I mean, I'm not sure how I think, because I think a lot in pictures, a lot of the time, a lot of images. Like scenes. Like, in my mind, I act out scenes.
Well, that's what I do.
No, but they're not words. Like, they're scenes.
Yes. But it's like a video audio. It's not like...
So you think in both?
Yes.
That's what I asked.
Okay.
So
when you say pictures, I thought you were talking.
But some
like,
people just think in words. Some people without training. Well, this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you trained yourself to think in scenes, because you can train yourself to think in scenes. You know, that's possible.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying naturally, do you think in scenes, which is audio and visual? Do you think in audio, just words, or do you think in images, just video?
I think in both.
Naturally. Think about this week.
I'm trying to think of my earliest
This week,
thought.
go through your. This week, go through your, like. Think about when you're thinking. I'm serious. Think about when you're thinking, and think to yourself: is this in words or is this in pictures, or is it in both?
It's in both, like every time.
All the time.
Yeah, because like, I always think of like. This is gonna sound weird, but I always think of my life like a movie in my head. And then I play out like the way like a certain scene could play out depending on how I act.
That's how I think.
Okay.
Like you go through like all possible
I
consequences.
I'm like spoiler alert. I'm like Doctor Strange and Avengers Infinity War.
This week I told myself, this is so funny. On the car ride here, I told myself, this is gonna be the worst week of my life.
Why?
I just feel it. I just feel it. Because that thing happened, you know what thing I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And then, not only that, I'm waiting on a grade to come in, and I'm like...
I got a hold put on my account. I was really upset about that.
I did too. Well, it's because we haven't paid the thing.
Well, yeah, that's dumb, though.
I agree, because it's the grades from the past semester, which I paid for.
Yeah.
You know?
And I can't, like, apply for anything until I get my GPA, so...
Apply for anything?
So, like, I'm reapplying for Bright Futures.
Oh.
And I can't apply for it until I
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. All right. So, anyway,
Ready for the next question? Next question.
this is going to be the last question.
Oh, man. Okay. There's only 2 more questions in this, so I'm just going to ask one of them.
Okay.
Is knowledge best conceived in parts or wholes?
Parts.
Why?
Because it's easier to consolidate parts than it is a whole. Give me an example of what a whole is.
I'll just read the description of the
Yeah,
question.
give me...
Those who take a holistic approach, or holistic approach,
It's holistic.
holistic, it's not spelled the same way.
I
Anyway,
know.
believe
it's
that
not.
phenomena are highly interrelated and operate as a system. True knowledge, in other words, cannot be divided into parts, but consists of general, indivisible gestalt understandings. Others believe that knowledge consists of understanding how parts operate separately, so they are interested in isolating, categorizing, and analyzing the various components that together comprise what can be considered knowledge. Did you get all that?
Put it in... summarize it for me.
So basically, if you think that knowledge is best conceived as phenomena acting within a system, then you believe in the holistic approach. If you believe that phenomena operate independently of one another, and your goal is to isolate, categorize, and analyze these phenomena, then you are taking the separate approach.
What if you try and take it the separate approach and then try afterwards, after you've got that concept down, piece them together?
I think that would technically be the holistic approach, technically, because you're still thinking of it as operating within a system.
I think you always have to be thinking of in a
Well,
system.
not necessarily.
I think you do.
I think
If you're trying to reach an ultimate conclusion about the world you live in, so reality, then you have to think in systems. You can't think in parts.
Well, that's the one contention I have with the way this is worded. It makes it...
Because I would say, yes, specializing is important. So specializing in little phenomena is important.
Yeah.
So like psychology is one of those, I would say, parts, right? And
Yeah.
and even that has subsets. And so, yeah, I would say that those you do need to specify what you're in, because that's the only way you'll get to an even greater knowledge of that thing.
I don't think... I think that you're confusing specialization and divisibility. So I think that what this is saying that the separated approach is doing is it's saying that these separate concepts are not interrelated and they should remain separated. The holistic approach sees these different things. For instance, I don't know if you know about systems theory and communication. Systems theory has all these separate things. So, for instance, systems theory and communication is like, I know you, I know our parents, and we're connected by this relationship. My relationship with you is different from my relationship with mom and dad, and your relationship with mom and dad is a little different than mine. It's relatively the same because we're brothers, but it's a little bit different because we're different people. So you have a connection with them, and I have a connection to them, and we have a connection together, and that's a system. And that system could be considered our family. I tend to think in systems, so I'd probably have to say that knowledge is best conceived as a whole
I think it
with
has
several
to.
parts, with
I think it has to be. I don't
an
know.
impossible number of parts.
I don't know if the question is suggesting that you should just worry about the whole or just the part, because both ways are wrong.
No,
So what you should do, especially in a career, is you should focus on a part. Get really,
and then
really good
see
at
how
that
it
part,
relates to the whole.
and then see how after you've mastered it to a certain degree, then you
And
see
then
how it relates
you
to the
insert
whole.
your part into the whole
Okay,
and see how it works.
I'm not amused.
What?
He's making gestures. Anyway, but yeah,
Is that it?
that's it.
All right.
That was a good talk.
It was good talk.
It was a good talk.
We'll do ontology next time.
Okay, ontological. Isn't that how you know something?
Deals with the nature of being.
Oh, gotcha.
So this is going to be deep.
So the nature of
It's going to be a
being.
dive.
So that's how things are. That is reality. Ontology is reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the first question. Do you want me to read the first question?
Sure, go ahead.
just
We're
a-
not going to answer it.
Just give a little teaser.
Don't-
First,
Don't use that voice.
to what extent do humans make real choices?
So it is reality. It's talking
Yeah.
about reality. Okay. Well, that's a good way to lead it next week into this week. What?
Yeah.
It's a good way to lead into. There you go, Zane. It's a good way to lead into next week. So we're coming up on the hour mark. So just want to leave you with a few thoughts. So like Zach said, we're gonna be trying to hit the articles really heavy, and trying to get out a lot of the. Sorry, you were yawning into the mic.
No.
But I was just saying that we're going to try and get out a lot more stuff, a lot more content for you guys. And if you guys want to come and support the channel, that'd be great on YouTube, the ZSBS ZSBS TV, or come to our website at thezsbs.com and come take a look at our articles. We also have our videos up there. We'll also have some other links up there, putting some links up there for Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, we're trying to get you guys a lot of really good people to listen to. I might even put in I know the Jonathan Haidt, who's a leftist professor, not a leftist professor, he's a liberal, but he's a professor at NYU. Brilliant guy. Love for you guys to listen to him. He's a genius. He's a psychologist just like Jordan Peterson, and he hates the left's culture war on the ideological and cultural grounds too. So check him out, and we'll have all these up there for you. So, Zach, you want to say anything to the audience before we go?
Well, I just want to reiterate that you're going to see a lot more content up on our website and on the YouTube channel, and so look forward to that. Perhaps going to be doing some new stuff with video. I'd like to do new stuff with video. I don't know if Zane wants to get involved with that, but that's pretty much it. And remember, dance like no one's watching. Smile through the storm. Words of wisdom from me.
Do you have a quote of the day?
I will.
Do you have a quote of the day for the audience?
Yeah, 1 second. Let me look up a quote of the day.
You're taking too long.
Give me a second. You can't wait for inspiration. You have to go after it with a club. By Jack London.
I'm sorry? You have to talk a little louder. I can't hear you.
You can't wait for inspiration. You have to go after it with a club.
Is that a golfer?
By Jack London. I don't think so.
No, that's not a golfer. All right.
I don't know who that is.
That's interesting. Thanks for giving us that nonsensical.
Wait. I'll look for a better quote.
All right. We're gonna leave.
No.
It was good seeing y'all.
No. Wait, no. Let me get a quote. I'm almost there. All right.